Hello my fellow creators and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to play with some Spellbinders goodies. So Spellbinders sent me a couple of fun goodies to play with and I made this beautiful card using those. And so this, I used the Fragmented Gaze dies, and these are from JC Gaspar, and so gorgeous dies. So I used those here. And then for the background panel, I used this stencil set. This is the Ambient Aura Stencil set. So this has 6 layering stencils, and I'll show you those in just a minute. So here's the card I made. Now for the sentiment, I pulled in an older set that I had in my stash. I don't think this one's available anymore, but you could use any sentiment there. I used this one, the Hello Friend sentiments, and I glimmer foiled on there, and I got brave and glimmer foiled after I had already done my panel. So luckily it worked out okay. So I'm going to make this card again, but this time I got smart and I foiled first. So I used some pink foil. I used the bright pink glimmer foil on there. Okay. And then this panel, I think I cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4. Yes, I did. And I die cut all my pieces ahead of time. And then I have my card base here. So we're going to start by stenciling on our card panel. So let me show you these stencils real quick. So like I mentioned, this has 6 stencils. And you could use all 6, you can use just 1, you can use however many of them you want. On my first panel, I used all 6, but I don't think I'm going to do that on this panel. So here, they have etching on the bottom. And it says, this one is 1A, this one here is 1B, and then this is 2A, and this one is 2B, and this one is 3A, and then 3B. So I think for this panel, I'm only going to use 2. Let's start with that thought. So you have these little registration guides there so you can align your panel, but I already cut mine down. All right, I'm going to bring in my stamp wheel here. That way I can just line up my stencils on the corner here, and I'm not going to deal with lining up registration marks. So I think that's how I'm going to do this. Yeah, that should work. Okay, let me get my blending brushes and start adding some ink. Now for my initial card, I did use pastels, and so this time I think I'm going to go with little brighter colors. So I think, let's see, let me look at my stencils. That's the first one. That's our second one. So if I just did 2, or I could add a third, which I might do, we'll see. So I'm going to start with my teal. So I'm using Tranquil Teal, and we'll start just ink blending with that first. Then I will take this off and we'll add stencil 1B. And again, just putting it here in the corner, and I don't have to worry about lining up registration marks, even though my card's a little smaller. So I think next I will use my Passionate Pink.
No quiero más problemas.
Alrighty, now let me see if I want to go with a third stencil here. So I would use 2A. Let's see. Yeah, I think I will. And so for this one, I'm going to use Plum Punch, I think. Alrighty, let's take a look, see if I need a fourth one. Oh, that looks so pretty. Let's see, if I added 2B, what would happen here? No, you know what? I think I'm going to leave it as is. So let me set this aside and we'll put together our beautiful dies. So what I like to do when I am putting together a new die set, and I haven't done it too many times, is I like to have the packaging image nearby so that I can kind of see what goes where and make sure I'm doing it right. Once I've put die cuts of the same image together several times, then I kind of remember and get the hang of it, and I don't need to have that there. But for the first time, the packaging really does help me get everything in the right order. So for this one, I'm gonna make this one with just some brown hair, and I used some textured cardstock here that I had in my stash. And the only thing with using textured cardstock is it's kind of hard to see the embossed lines there, so I have to kind of turn it at different angles to see where it is that I have that. Okay, so let's start with, I'm going to put the small pieces together first. So this one does have an embossed line here, so I can add this piece on top of this one. And this is these two tones of her neck. And I did kind of bright colors for the die on my first card. At least for her hair I did, but on this one I'm going kind of more muted colors since my background's a little brighter. And then this, you can see here, it has the embossing for the cheek. So again, I used more textured cardstock. I just went to my little scrap bin and pulled in whatever tiny scraps I had to die cut these out of. That's why I like to save even my small pieces of scrap paper, because I can use it for dies just like this when you have smaller pieces. La semana está por terminar y la fiesta va a empezar. Oye. El trabajo está terminando, los trajitos se están mezclando y todo el mundo está preparando, porque la fiesta va a empezar y la rumba va a formar y la salsa rica, música buena para disfrutar. Oye, para que tú sepas, mami. Eso es. Ay, mami, tú sabes quién llegó. Y la rumba ya se formó. Estamos aquí para guarachar porque la fiesta ya empezó. Y la rumba ya se formó. Ahí suena los tambores, el quinto y el tredo. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Okay, so let me get my panel back. All right, here's my panel. Now, I'm trying to think if I want a matte layer of pink here. Oh, what if I do a matte layer of the brown to go with her hair? Here, I have some of that brown hair. So, let's see, where did I cut this to? I cut this down to 4. I'm going to cut it a little bit less. So 3 7/8. And take off the bottom instead. Okay. So then this one, I can do 4 by 5 1/4. So just a real small border around there. I think I need to trim just a slight bit more. Okay, let's take a peek here. Oh, I like that. Now I have to figure out where to place a beautiful lady here, because I don't want to cover up our hello friend sentiment there, right? So I am going to go ahead and place her on there with some liquid glue so that I can shift where I need it to shift and then trim off whatever excess I have. So not covering up the word friend too much while still leaving her pretty close at the bottom. And then I'll trim off the excess. Okay, looks like I trimmed off most of her blouse, but some of it still shows, so I think that's good. And then we'll attach this. Change here is I might have done a different color. I love that pink, and it looks great in person. You just can't really tell too much on camera. Alrighty friends, there are my 2 cards using the Ambient Aura Stencils and the Fragmented Gaze die set. So what do you think? Which one do you like better? The one we did together with our brown haired beauty, or the one I did off camera with a bright pink hair? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I'd be thrilled if you subscribed to my YouTube channel or followed me on any of my other social media platforms. As always, have a beautiful, safe, and creative day. Thanks for watching. Bye.